Hey guys, hope you're having a great day. Your old buddy Tim back with another video. And yes, boys and girls, it's that time of the month. It's the time of the month when we look at what's going on in the market. What was happening here in the North Alabama real estate market in September? Did the market go up? Did the market go down? Did it stay level? What is happening here in our backyard in North Alabama and what you should know? Also in this video, we're not only going to look at what's going on as far as average sale price and that sort of thing. I want to take a look at exactly how much house you can afford, because with the interest rates hovering right around 8 now, honestly, you're going to be able to afford a lot less house than you could have a year ago, 18 months ago. So I want to take a look at that, and we want to compare what are our averages here in our 4 main metros and compare those to what you would need to bring in income-wise to be able to afford to live here in North Alabama. And admittedly, it's getting more expensive every day. And again, primarily that's because of the interest rates. You know, nothing else has really changed here. Our property values are still increasing. Our taxes are the same. Our cost of living is the same. But because of interest rates, you can afford probably a little or a lot less house than you could have a year ago. So, hey, before I get started, if you like what we do here on the channel, do me a favor, give us a thumbs up, click the like button, click the subscribe. That way you'll never miss another video. And don't forget, if you are looking to buy, sell, relocate, invest, any of the above in our North Alabama market, we've got Leading Edge Real Estate Group here now. We have 300 and some odd agents ready to go to work for you, as well as yours truly. My information is below. So let me pull up my computer. And as we always do, we're going to look at our 4 main metros: Huntsville, Madison, Athens, and Decatur. And we're going to take a look at what's going on in each. And we're going to start out with the average price. This is the average price in each of these markets in the last month of September. So looking here, red is Madison, green is Athens, blue is Huntsville, Decatur is the orangey yellow. So let's start with Madison, which is like one of the preferred bedroom communities here. They've got high rated schools, property values are great, growth is great, inventory is low. The average price, city of Madison, actually went up last month to $406,907. That was up from $387,757. Now, everybody always asks me, Tim, why did these go up? Why did they go down? There's a number of factors at play here, primarily inventory. What is available is going to drive this. You know, if the houses on the market there now are more expensive, well, the average is going to go up. Okay, so I think that's what we're seeing here, and still considerably down from the high we saw last September before things started going to hell in a handbasket. Green is Athens. You can see Athens went down. It was 365 down to 339. Huntsville, which is kind of more steady than the others, went up a little bit to 344. That is from 335. And in Decatur, which I always say this, Decatur is its own market. I have no idea what's going on in Decatur. Went from 259 down to, or actually went down from 287 to 259. And again, a lot of this has to do with the available inventory. The more expensive homes on the market, the higher it's going to climb. So that was the average price. You can see Madison went up, Athens went down, Huntsville held its own, went up a little bit, and Decatur went down. All right, so let's look at the median. And of course, median means middle. You take the low, the high, the number of homes, the price, look down the middle, that gives you median. I always say this median, I think, is a little confusing because it goes from 0 to whatever that number could be. So looking at the median in Madison, bounced back up nicely. It was 350 last month, 374.9 this month. Athens down just a bit Then we have Huntsville down a bit, and then Decatur pretty much dead flat what it was last week or last month. So again, median prices I think are a little misleading. I always go with the average because that is going to give you an average of the price in the market. Let's see how many new listings came out last month. Looks like new listings, City of Madison was down to 212. No, I'm sorry, that's Huntsville 212, Madison 101, Decatur 70, and Athens 58. So new listings in Huntsville and Madison and Athens down, and then Decatur bounced up just a little bit. You can see we still have a very tight inventory here. Let's look at months supply. And as you can see, yeah, Athens is 2.5, Decatur is 2.1, Madison 1.8, Huntsville 1.9. That means that if nothing else comes on the market here, that we will run out of inventory given that everything sells in a couple of months. So it's still a very tight seller's market. We do not see it switch over to a buyer's market until there's at least 4 or 5 months of inventory on there. But this is such a weird market because the inventory is still low. And anytime you have low inventory, that drives up prices and demand. But thanks to interest rates, the market doesn't have a clue what it's doing. Is it up? Is it down? You know, the laws of physics kind of go out the window when you are hovering at about 8% on the interest rate. So that month supply, even though it is a very tight market, you would expect the days on the market to be less. Now, if we look at days on market, and I did a video about explaining days on market recently. You may want to go look at. Looks like Athens, the average. Let's go to average. Average days on market in Athens dropped a lot, but it's still 25. Huntsville 23, Madison 27, Decatur 25. Days on market simply means this: the number of days a home is on the market between the day it goes active and the day it goes under contract. That's what we call days on market. Typically, the longer days on market gives you an indication of a slower market. If you look back here, in May, June of last year, 6 days on market in Madison. And again, we had homes going before they hit the market back in those good old days. So I have agents calling me up all the time freaking out about the home's been on the market 1, 2, 3 weeks, and they have received no offers on it. So days on market, longer days on market are a thing now. And again, it's not that the inventory is high. The inventory is still very tight. Buyers are still moving here in droves. It's simply the fact that the interest rates, and also the time of year, but mostly the interest rates, have things really grinding to a slow halt. So, all right, so what I want to do now is actually look at the average sale price in, let's say, Huntsville. Average sale price in Huntsville last month, $334,000. Who can afford to buy a $334,000 house in Huntsville? Now, our average income is pretty high here, somewhere I think in the 80s. So let's take a look. I'm just going to go over here to my affordability calculator. Thank you, Zillow. They've got a really good calculator. If you want to use one, go to Zillow. So what I'm going to do is I want to know if you can afford the average home price here in Huntsville, $344,000. What kind of income do you need? All right, so I've played with this a little bit. So there are a lot of factors at play here. Number one is the income. Okay, what's your annual income? What's your net income? What's your monthly debts, meaning that other than your house, do you have car payment? Do you have student loans? Do you have medical bills? Do you have credit cards? How much of a down payment you have to put on the loan? If you're doing a conventional mortgage, you can put down, anywhere from 3%. 20% is always recommended because it avoids PMI. But again, it depends on how much you have to put down. And then the mortgage company is going to look at your debt to income ratio. They're going to give you the best interest rate of today, which is probably about 7.5. That's what we're going to use. So we are going to include PMI because it is less than 20%. And again, that's going to add considerably to your monthly payment. We're also going to filter in taxes, insurance, and we're not going to worry about HOA due. So right here you can see if you wanted to afford a house that was $333,585, which is roughly about the average here. If you have $3,000 a month in debts, if you have 3% to put down, roughly 12 grand, your debt to income ratio is 40%. You don't want to go any higher than that, guys. You could drown yourself in debt. You can become house poor. I don't recommend that at all. All right. So these are 30-year mortgages. So you can see if you are looking at a $333,000 home and you've got monthly debts of $3,000, you're going to need an income of $178,000 to afford a $333,000 house. Now again, that is with the monthly debts of $3,000. Yours may be more. Let's say I've got a couple of really expensive cars. I've got credit card. Let's say my monthly debts are $5,000. Well, you can see what that did. If my monthly debts are at $5,000, even though I'm making $178,000, I can only afford a $110,000 house. So let's go back a little bit now. Let's say we want to get to that 330. Let's say I'm going to put down 20%. Let's say I'm going to put down $60,000. I've sweated. I've saved. Look at this. If the monthly debts are still $5,000, you're still only going to be able to afford a $159,000 house. That's crazy. And the payment on that is $933 a month. So let me back this back down to 3. Okay. It's amazing how just changing that number really drops down how much house you can afford, and it's because you got a lot going out. All right, you can only, if you're already putting out $5,000 in debts, you're only going to be able to afford a $933,000 house. That's why it is really important to get your debts down, get as much paid off as you can before you try to buy a home. So anyway, let's say you've got the 20% down. Let's say you've got, let's just round this down to $50,000 to put down. All right, if you're making $178,000, you can afford a $377,000 house. We only want the average, which is $344,000. So let's bring this down some. So let's bring it down a little more. And you can go play with this calculator. It's on Zillow. So we're almost there. A little more. So I need to make... if I'm looking at a $325,000 house, $330,000 house, if I've got 50 grand to put down, then I need to make an income of 165. And I know this can be a little confusing. I encourage you to go, just go search for Zillow affordability calculator, and you'll find this, and you can play with it depending on your particular situation. And again, keep in mind the lower your current monthly debts, your utilities, your credit cards, what have you, the larger your down payment, lower your monthly debts, larger your down payment, the more house that you can afford with a lesser income. So let's just do this one. Let's see here. So, and you start off really with what? Let's say you make 150 grand a year. You got $2,000 in debts. You got 50 grand to put down. 7.5% interest rate, you're going to be able to afford about a $385,000 house. Now, let me warn you, when you call a lender, a mortgage company to get pre-qualified, they're basically going to just take a really quick snapshot of your income and your debt to income ratio, and they're going to come up with a number of how much you can borrow. I have found there's a big difference sometimes between how much you're qualified to borrow and how much you can afford to borrow. So your monthly payment, this number right here, is what's most important in my book, because you're going to have almost a $3,000 payment every month for this house. So again, a lot of different factors, your debt ratio, your down payment, your income, but again, the more you've saved up, the better. Let's say you you have an annual income of $100,000. You've got $2,000 in debts, and you've got $50,000 to put down. Well, you can afford a $200,000 house. Not too many $200,000 houses in our market, guys. And I hear this all the time. You know, there is a definite fear that North Alabama is going to become one of those areas where the average earner cannot afford to live. If you are working a job where you're making $25 an hour, $25 an hour is $1,000 a week. So let's put that right at $60,000. It's not a lot of house. You're not going to find anything for $50,000. You would really have to put down a big down payment to get that into what would honestly be an acceptable living area or house. Let's say, I think the average income here is $85,000. If you make $85,000, which is not a bad salary, guys, at all, and if you got a couple of $1,000s in debt, if you've got 50 grand to put down, which you may not have. Let's say you are a new first-time home buyer and you've got 20,000 to put down. Well, if your debt-to-income ratio is 40%, you're going to be able to afford $107,000. Let's change this to 30%. All right, so you can see, looking at that, with interest rates where they really are affecting how much house you can buy, even if you make a decent living. So something to think about. Again, I'm a big advisor of getting your debts paid down before you even start looking at a home. You know, I'm a big fan of Dave Ramsey. Get on the debt snowball, get everything paid off, and once you have that under control, then maybe you look at buying a house. Let's say your monthly debts, you don't have any payments at all other than food, utilities, that sort of thing. Let's say that's going to be $800 a month. Look how that jumped. It went up considerably. So the bottom line here, guys, is there are a lot of factors at play. Okay? There's your income, there's your monthly outgo, there's your down payment amount, there's the interest rate, a whole lot of factors in play right now when it comes to calculating how much house you can afford. So, all right, guys, I hope that was helpful. I don't mean to be a bit of a downer. I just believe in being very realistic when we look at these numbers and giving you a true picture of what the market is doing here and what you might be able to afford in this market. So regardless, if you need our assistance in buying or selling a home, if you're moving here, relocating, you're looking to invest, if you would just like to sit down with me and go over your affordability, more than happy to do that. Again, we've got Leading Edge here in North Alabama. We've got about 300 agents now, 7 locations, and we're ready to go to work for you. And we work with a lot of lenders. We can hook you up and see what you can work out with those lenders. So, all right, guys, I hope that was helpful. Get out and make it a great day. Things are going to pick up. I'll talk to you soon.